Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and with me, Eric, 2005, McKay.
2005. Why am I 2005?
You're wearing a, well, it's not an old shirt, but it celebrates the fact that we started in 2005.
That is correct.
The origins of dynamic discs.
That is correct.
Is that is that when he established it as a company, or is
I'm
that
pretty sure that's like
I think that's when he started making the dives.
when
right?
when he started selling discs, came up with the name, that
Okay.
kind of thing.
That was the year that all happened. Very cool.
05. Wow, that was so long ago.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
And, of course, we have Mr. Robert
Jury's still out on a nickname, McCall.
McCall. Yeah.
I don't think the jury's out. I thought
got
our
plenty of
listeners
No, I
have
asked,
spoken.
I asked
No,
if
but
I
you
had
vetoed
veto
him.
powered.
You vetoed
Yeah,
I don't know if you get
that's
veto on
that's some
that.
doo doo, man.
them. Maybe that'll be the new nickname.
Some doo doo.
Yeah, Robert, some doo-doo McCall.
That sounds good, man. I'm cool with it.
Anyway,
All right.
thanks for joining us for another Disc Golf Answer Man. Sorry we missed it by a day. Had some stuff come up to where we had to record a day after. But we're here to answer your disc golf questions. But first, let's kind of catch up. You guys playing disc golf this past weekend? Or last few days? I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Where'd you play
I
at?
did not.
I played on Sunday. I played Jones East. You know who I played with?
Oh yeah, who'd you play with?
You played
I
with-
feel like I heard about this.
You played with
Anthony's over there giving me a dirty look.
Oh, that guy.
Anthony.
Anthony. So anyway, I wanted to play some disc golf on Sunday, and I reached out to some people to see if they want to play. Anthony said he wanted to play, so we met out there, and of course we have our staff tags. So I challenged Anthony to put the tags on the line, and I asked Anthony, "What's a good score for you here out at Jones East?" And he said 55.
Okay. Before you
then-
go in,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
let's hear what tag numbers you guys have because
dang
that's
it.
really important
Sure,
to the
sure.
story.
So I had tag 42,
Yeah.
and Anthony had tag 7.
Ooh.
Dang, nice job.
So anyway, my best at Jones East was like 69, 70, 71. So he beats me by about 14, 15 strokes. So, I asked him, how many strokes you give me? He says, I'll give you 10.
10.
Yeah.
All
so I
right.
said, for sure.
Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it pays off for him.
So anyway, to make a long story short, I now have tag 7, and Anthony has tag 42.
Got
Got
him. Oh, he's mad.
He's mad. He's over there huffing and puffing.
Yeah. Fuming.
What'd
so
you shoot? You didn't. You gotta tell
I
everybody.
shot at 70.
Oh, okay.
No, 71.
Yeah.
And what did you shoot, Anthony? He shot at 64. Yeah, 64. So.
Dang it.
So anyway, I might lose it tonight because we have Wednesday.
Wednesday
tag
night tags at Peter Pan.
But you also might not lose it tonight.
I may.
Maybe you come out and shred.
Maybe I'll come out and shred and walk away with maybe 2 or
Oh yeah.
1. I don't know.
Probably one, I think.
Yeah. Who's got number 2 right now?
Not me.
Who does have?
I think maybe Kevin
Kev
or
Dog.
Corey, maybe.
What
I
number
don't
do
know.
you have, Robert?
I have like 10.
Wow.
I played
I
miserably.
have better than you.
Yeah.
That's
I played miserably.
that's Emporia tags, right? Not staff tags.
Staff tags is what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm talking about staff tags. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we only played for staff tags.
Yeah.
I should have took your Emporia.
Yeah.
tag
Why didn't
too.
you guys play for Emporia
Yeah.
tags too?
I
What
played-
tag do you guys have for Emporia?
that? I think like 50 or something like that.
22.
22. Okay.
22 for Anthony.
Yeah. This last week at tags, I played one of the worst competitive rounds I've played in a while. So
I tell you what.
I did not do well.
New pins too.
Yeah,
There-
it was
there were
new pins.
I like the tag thing because listeners and viewers too. Hello, YouTube.
Hey.
If you have a way of doing any kind of tags in your area, I highly recommend it because it was cool. Because knowing that was on the line, I think
Yeah.
I hate. I mean, I don't want to say that I don't try when I'm casual, but I tried a little bit more.
Right.
Well, yeah, especially coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It really helps with having that mindset during tournament play as well. Because you don't get lazy with shots
Yeah.
ever.
Oh, yeah.
Every shot
Yeah,
matters.
it makes it way easier for you to care about it. Like
Yeah.
if when Eric and I go out and play, sometimes we'll play for tags, sometimes we don't. But when we do, it's like if I miss a shot, I'm not pleased. Like I'm trying to win.
Yeah, I mean he kicks his bag.
That's right.
and throws.
If
it
you've
and
played with me, that's kind of
how
my
you-
thing.
yeah.
Rage.
rage,
Rage.
rage is your thing.
That's
huh?
right.
Against the machine.
Yep.
Oh.
No disc golf for me this weekend. Shay and I mentored a group of high school kids in Austin at the church that we were at. So we went down for their graduation Sunday. So we got to see a whole bunch of people and help out with worship and all that stuff. So
Very cool.
no disc golf, but it was a good weekend.
Yeah, I did not play disc golf either. I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert
Yeah.
on Sunday
I heard
night
it was
though.
awesome.
But did you give it
and-
away?
That was the very last song they played,
really?
so I
I would
absolutely gave it away.
Nice.
Yes.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, good stuff.
Yeah.
And then another thing that's in disc golf news is ratings.
I really like your breaking news.
Here we go.
So
Up or down?
I haven't even looked at mine, to be honest. What about yours, Eric? I'll look mine up real quick.
Mine went up 1 point.
Booyah! What are you rated? 1025, now 6? No.
16.
Minus 10.
Minus 10, sorry.
10-16 right now.
My bad. But it's good that it went up. So
Yeah.
what about you? What? Let me look mine up first because, everybody's curious about yours.
What were you, Bobby? You don't even know. That's what I thought.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't pay that much attention, sorry.
You're just not a numbers guy.
I'm not a numbers guy. So I'm going to look up Bobby Brown on here, Bobby CDSB.
UBJ.
Unless we're talking about flight numbers on hotcakes.
Right.
Because then we're definitely numbers people.
Deadly accurate.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's right.
So I am rated 810.
Okay. What were you?
I love how Eric smiled. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Close.
Why is this guy even here?
What were you?
How do you look up what were you?
Go to ratings
history.
History. Ratings history says, survey says, I was rated 794.
Dang. Moving up, man.
What's your highest rating
It
ever?
was from that round with Anthony. I think that win really put me over.
Oh, fantastic, man.
What was that question? I'm sorry, Eric.
What's your highest
rating ever?
My highest rating ever is 825.
You're close, man.
Very cool.
Wow,
Within
that was
15.
back in 2010.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
A long time ago.
Nice.
That's excellent.
So to your rating, since, of course, we all know that we have a bet between me and Robert McCall, I'm saying that because he works now in disc golf, he
right.
won't get to play a lot of disc golf. So I don't think he'll hit 1,000 rated player between now and 2018.
Yeah. End of 2018.
End of 2018.
Yeah.
So what was your rating after the update?
So I had one bad tournament go in. Bad as in underneath my rating. I think it averaged 977 or 8 or something like that. I didn't look at the updated scores. But by some miracle, my rating stayed the same. So I'm still sitting at 985. Got a couple of tournaments coming up that I'm going to go play. One's the Wichita Doodah, which I haven't played either of those courses, but I'm excited about.
Which is
checking
usually
those
good
out.
for your rating.
They're
right?
fun.
Yeah,
Questions.
playing blind is always when you shoot your best golf.
Question.
Yeah.
On this bet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, the bet is at the end of the year he'll be 1,000 rated. Now, what if he hits 1,000 rated in, say, August, and then he drops and is below 1,000?
That's the part that got me that I should have thought through is that the actual wording of the bet is that as long as he hits 1,000.
So
Anytime
all you
between now
have
and
to
then.
do is go out and have it. Like if you go just murder,
I need to go.
You
shred
go shred
Wichita
Doodah.
and shred the next weekend, or swed. I'm gonna swed the next
So
weekend.
if you
while
kill
he's
it-
hunting wabbits.
if you kill it at the next two,
Yeah,
you just quit playing disc golf altogether.
that's right. I need to
Right.
play at least one more tournament in like August, September, so that my world's ratings will drop off because
Yes.
they're like 940, 950, really bad. Once those drop, we're in business. So,
right,
yeah.
but he can't. Oh, I did tell him after I realized, after we said, I was like, dude, you can't just like play a few, do really well, and then not play. That's
what you think. I
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
No, I don't intend to stop playing or play
I
any
don't
less
see
than
that
I
in you,
normally
yeah.
would. No. I'm gonna go have fun and compete.
Are
and-
you playing Kansas City wide open?
No.
You're lame.
I know. I already committed to a B
I don't
tier.
care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Texas,
I don't care.
Where I learned to play.
See, look at Bobby. He's mad too.
I am. I'm very upset.
I really did want to play KC Wide Open. I just found out.
KC
it was the
Wide
same
Open
week.
is awesome. It's
Yeah.
going to be a really good event.
Yeah, ratings will probably be better there as well.
So anyway, so in this bet, so far you're still 985. So
Yep.
we have not reached the what the bet was all about. So we're good to go
Yeah.
here.
Now I suggested we add on to the wager, and part of what our wager is right now is just lunch, and the other so if I get to 1,000, Bobby has to throw a Dimax, keep it in his bag that I design. And then vice versa. If I don't reach 1,000, I owe him lunch. He designs a Dimax disc. Talking is hard. Dimax disc that I have to throw in my bag. But I wanted to do something like put the loser has to put the winner's face on a shirt and wear it for a tournament or to
wow.
tags or in a video or something like that.
A face on a shirt.
Face on a shirt. The
Yeah.
last time you were 1,000 rated, do you know when that was?
Yeah, 2013.
2014.
Oh yeah, beginning of 2014.
April 2014.
Yep, that's right.
And then you were 1,001 before that, and then
Yep.
not until 2013.
Yep, I climbed relatively quickly and then did a lot of this.
Yeah.
When I was around 1,000.
Roller coaster.
Yep.
Roller coaster.
It wasn't huge, but anyway.
So enough about ratings. Now, this weekend, I am going to play in a Trilogy Challenge because
nice.
this weekend is the first weekend of the Trilogy Challenge, and I believe there's quite a few for the first weekend. But I'm going to go to Wichita, where Ducks Flying Disc is putting one on.
Is it at Oak?
It is at Oak.
Nice.
What is it? Describe. I've never played Oak or been
Oak
to
is
Oak.
fun.
Yeah.
Oak is fun. It's I actually have a video out there that you should go watch at some point of myself, Denise, Ben Wiggins, Crispin. We
Okay,
just kind
cool.
of did like a little fun round.
Oh, was that at Oak?
It's-
I remember watching.
Yeah,
didn't know that was
yeah,
that
it was
course.
like the hand-eye crew. We just kind of went out and had a good time and threw
Nice.
some shots. But you'll get an idea of what the course looks like. It's no elevation really, but it's long. Little OB here and there. Cool little pond shot.
Nice.
It's part your typical Kansas park style course.
Cool.
Which
Well,
is it's a lot of fun.
It's a flex start, so I'm just going to go out there, probably not super early, but early enough so I can. I think Sue's going to go with me, and we may go shopping afterwards. Or something
Okay.
like that.
What
So-
day?
Nice.
Saturday. It's actually a flex start Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
Really? That's cool.
Trying to think what I got going on this weekend.
Maybe head out there and play.
Maybe
a
I'll go
little
to
disc golf.
Wichita and play some disc golf.
Maybe go see a movie afterwards, or
Ooh.
get some sushi.
Skip around in a
Ooh.
field.
They got a good sushi place in Wichita.
I haven't really ate sushi in Wichita.
Oh, okay. So if you want to,
Hayes, Kansas.
They got
That's
good
where
sushi?
that's where the sushi spot is.
really,
Yep.
interesting.
Right near the ocean, so you know it's fresh.
Exactly.
So if you want to find out if there's a Trilogy Challenge near you, make sure you go to trilogychallenge.com and click on that events tab. What do you say we get to the questions, gentlemen?
Let's.
All right, so remember, guys, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com and submit your questions. We will get it on the air and on YouTube.
YouTube.
You and Tube. So the first one is going to be from SpeakPipe. We have a few from SpeakPipe, and you guys can send those in. There's a link at the discgolfanswerman.com. Submit your question page. The first one comes from Anonymous.
That's promising. Yeah. Always.
All right, hold on. I got to fix the volume here. Make sure we don't blow our ears.
Okay, so I have two questions. They're both about the same thing, but you'll probably want to stop and answer the first one and then move on. So get ready, Bobby.
I wonder who this is.
So the first one is, what do you guys think about Worlds going to a 4-day event this year? I know in the past they've done, like last year it was 6 years and then or 6 rounds, excuse me, and then a final 9. And in the past I think they've done even longer than that. Personally, I like it better as a longer event. I feel like that gives the best player in the world the best chance to win. And that's what I think Worlds is all about. I think the best player in the world should win. With it being only a 4-day event, it feels almost like it's just a regular major or national tour event to me, which I don't think Worlds is. I think Worlds should be different. I think it should stand out and be like its own separate event. Okay.
First, is that the quality's really kind of bad? Is he
know, is
calling
that-
from like a bathroom?
I know.
Yeah, I'm not positive.
Yeah. So apparently this is why none of the videos are getting edited, because Anthony's sending in questions. To the Disc Golf Answer
Get back to work.
Anyway, so what do you guys think, Eric and Robert, about a 4-day Worlds event?
I kind of have to agree with him. It's I've played a lot of World Championships in the past, and I think 4 rounds it doesn't seem like enough. It does. It just kind of seems like another major event or national tour event, and throughout history, Worlds has been, not a sprint but a marathon.
Right.
I mean, I remember back in the day, it started on Tuesday and would end on Saturday, and there would be days we'd play 2 rounds one day, 2 rounds one day, and it was just a battle. And the cream always rises to the top, and I think that's what that kind of helps do, as opposed to somebody just being hot for 4.5 rounds. But I don't know. I'll be interested to see how everything goes down with this year's Worlds, mainly because, I mean, last year we ran, in my opinion, one of the best World Championships.
Right.
Only utilizing 2 courses, which is what they're doing this year as well, which I do like that. I do like the idea of, keeping it minimal as far as the courses you have to play. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everything goes, and it being only a 4-day event, seeing what the feeling is like down there in Augusta.
So, has there been anything official why they went to 4 days as opposed to more?
I don't know. It was fewer rounds last year than it has been
Yep.
even in the past.
But last year we did 5.
But yeah. The semifinals was a full round, and then the final 9 was just top.
Well, we did 5.5 rounds.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
I
kind of. We did 5 rounds technically.
Yeah.
I mean, and that included the cut.
Yeah. I didn't see anything why they decided to do that. Anything published about it. I agree with you too. I like the marathon more because, yeah, you could get hot for 4 rounds. I still think the best players in the world are going to show up for 4 rounds. But I always liked the marathon aspect where it's just like it's a grind. You know, you have to be on top of your game for every round that you're out there, or you're just not going to win. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I liked it a lot.
I liked it that way as well. The one thing I'm questioning more is moving it to June, moving World Championships to June as opposed to like August when it's usually more in the middle of summer, and
because it kind of caps off the season.
Not to mention 12 days or something. These touring pros are going to have to travel from Beaver State, which is in Oregon, to Augusta, Georgia. That's more than a haul. You know, I mean that's a week travel just to take your time getting there and not, rushing yourself or, getting super tired and all that. So to me, I don't like that idea of it. They should have, I don't understand why they couldn't have pushed the Worlds back a little bit more. It's not like, maybe one of the courses is on a private piece of park, but one of the Worlds courses is at the PDGA. Yeah. So that part didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that too. I don't have a good answer for it.
All right, let's see what the second part of the question is.
Now on to the second question. For Worlds, do you like that it rotates, or would you rather see it in a set location, like something like USDGC, for example? Because I've heard some people complaining about the Georgia courses. I've never been, I've never seen them, so I don't know what they're like. But I've just heard some people saying some things that they don't like about the courses and things like that. I think it's the World Championships, so it should rotate. But I just want to know your guys' thoughts too. All right.
What a goof.
So what do you think, guys?
I think it should rotate. I don't like the idea of it being in the same spot every single year personally for the World Championships. Just traditionally, it's moved around. It's given other clubs in other areas of the country to kind of showcase their courses, their events, how they can run an event, and just kind of having it in the same place every year, it just gets kind of, it would get a little stale, I feel.
I would think so too.
And it might get to where only really a player who's proficient in a certain style might win if it was in the same place every year.
And let's be honest, a course that Worlds, when you run Worlds, it's not a moneymaker. You're not making money as that club running that World Championships. You're losing money on that. Yeah. It's for the promotion side of it more than anything. So, I just don't foresee a club being able to do it every single year. The PDGA could, but I also would completely disagree with the World Championships being held on a course like in Augusta every single year where it's tight woods. And let's be honest, there's quite a bit of luck involved on some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like having it move around just so that, you don't have the same person or small group of people winning every year. If your game is strong in one area, maybe that's good for you one year, but really bad the next. I like that it moves around and that we still have DGC that stays in the same place. So
cool. Next one is from Anonymous again. I think a different Anonymous.
Hopefully so.
Better be a different Anonymous. No.
What's going on, Bobby, Eric, and Robert? I had a question that's kind of embarrassing, but I still gotta ask. So I have these disc golf pants. Well, they're golf pants, but they're nice and stretchy. And I wear them every round, and the only thing is they give me really, really bad wedgies. So I was wondering if there's any advice you guys can give me on how to avoid this.
Whoa, Zach, why are you in the closet?
I gotta go.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
someone's trying to get clever here.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh man, those
Uh,
goofballs.
How to
How to
where's-
not get wedgies?
Man,
Don't buy those pants.
Don't buy those pants. All right, let's move on to the next question.
don't do squats.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Work out less.
Next one is from the 870 Head Honcho.
What's up, Bobby? What's up, EMAC? What's up, Robert? I got way too long to become 1,000 rated, so after 2 years, I'm going to finally get a free lunch, McCall. Hope you
It's a
dudes
good
are
one.
doing all right today. I had a question about stance when you're putting. We were playing around the other day, and one of my friends, whenever he walks up to his lie, every time he putts, he'll put the outside of his foot up against his disc as opposed to his toe. One of our other friends said inside of 30 feet, you have to have your toe behind your disc pointed at your target. And I didn't know whether or not that was true, so I figured I'd ask you guys. I appreciate y'all. Have a great day.
What say you, gentlemen?
So the point of contact behind the disc is just your foot. So it can be your toe, it can be your side of the side of your foot.
Your heel.
Yeah, I mean if you
Your
wanted
hand?
to. Yeah, I mean call it.
Your knee?
As long as there's not something closer to the basket.
Your head.
That'd be impressive. As long as there's not something closer to the basket than your supporting point that's in line behind your disc, then you can put whatever part of your foot you want to. As long as
you're
it's
going to
with,
say whatever body part you want.
yeah, you can choose.
Heyo.
You can choose your nose. You can, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, as long as that it's within 11 inches, I believe is right to the back of the disc, then you're good to go. I wouldn't recommend putting your foot totally sideways when you putt because then you're having to twist the rest of your body. But it is legal to do that.
All right. Next one comes from Andrew.
Hey guys, my name is Andrew. I'm new to disc golf. I work on the weekends, so I don't have a whole lot of time to play in any tournaments or leagues. There's not a whole lot around here during the week. The Next Gen World Tour is coming through town. They actually have a tournament on Sunday, but the only division they have is advanced. I'm not quite there as far as being an advanced player. My question, I guess, is do I still sign up for it? Because it sounds like it's going to be a great time, even though my skill set probably isn't quite up to that level. I am did sign up for the PDGA, currently unranked and haven't ever played. Just kind of curious if you think that I'd be holding the guys back that went out to play, or if I should just sign up, go play, and have a good time, and what I shoot is what I shoot. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
I was going to say, what say you? I feel like you'd have a good one for this.
Absolutely. I think you should go out and experience the event, especially if it's a next generation tour event, because you're going to have all types of skill levels in that event. And it's actually, you know, kind of like a Trilogy challenge as far as all skill levels will be there, and it's a great like first event, first tournament for you to play in. And it really will help kind of stack you up to see where you know, you should be playing possibly at the next event. So absolutely, I'd say go for it.
That's exactly what I would say. Playing with better players makes you better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you go out and just get, I mean, destroyed and you lose by 20 a round, then you'll know. Maybe next time you play intermediate, maybe next time you play rec, but you can still go out and have a great time. I would go, absolutely go play that.
Yep.
Next one comes from Travis.
What is up, DGAM crew? This is Travis from Home Slice Disc Golf. This question will go towards the premier disc golf designer, Eric McCabe. So my question is, do you like to design courses with a basket placed on a very steep slope to where it catches a lot of variables and rolls? I've got a hole that is on my home course that is on an incredibly steep slope. I catch rolls all the time and take fours on 250-foot par threes that I should never do that for. Do you like these holes, or do you like to avoid these when you're doing your course design? Thanks for the help. You guys are great. See you later.
Great question. For me, it kind of depends from course to course, I suppose, on the terrain of the course, what the person hiring me wants out of the course. I don't necessarily disagree with the basket on the side of a hill that could potentially cause rollaways. However, I would never do that with more than, say, 3 baskets.
Right.
If it's an 18-hole course, I don't want every hole to be right there on the side of a hill. That just gets super frustrating for everybody, and it's just not a lot of fun. So, I agree that you can do it. Just don't do it multiple times in one course.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said for greens that run away a little. So say you land on the short side of the green and you're looking at a death putt. I think that's great design.
Yep.
But if what you're talking about is where kind of the basket is just straight between you and the basket, and there's a hill right behind the basket, and if you hit any angle, you might sit, you might roll.
Yeah.
Stuff like that's kind of fluky.
Well, it kind of reminds me of one of the courses we played in Vegas this year. You know, not trying to say that the course was bad by any means, but it seemed like every single basket set on a mound, and on each side of it was a bunker or a green or
OB.
Something that was OB that would cause a penalty stroke. So I felt when I was playing that tournament, I didn't feel like, it was necessarily a bad design, but I also felt like I was handcuffed and wasn't able to really putt if I had anything outside the circle. So I had to lay up a lot. De La Viega, like hole 2 comes to mind, for instance. That is an absolute gorgeous green.
Yeah.
You've got to have your tee shot land in the circle. If you don't land in the circle, you might as well just lay up that putt because it's a death putt. So, it just kind of depends on the course, the terrain. I just don't like when you see it on every single hole.
Yeah, and that's really good terminology. If you're going out of your way to make every hole like that, then handcuffed is what I would think of. Yeah, that's tough.
All right, next one comes from Brad.
Eric Red Rocket McCabe, Robert the Milkman McCall, and Bobby Brown. What's up?
Oh,
Brad
I got
with
dissed.
Home Slice
In your
Disc Golf.
face.
Here's my question for the day. Our local course is about to go into some pretty decent construction, so a pipeline's coming through. It's going to screw up probably 4 or 5 holes on the front 9, and we have a league that goes on Wednesdays. Do you have any suggestions on how we can continue the league? Should we just play a shorter course, so have like a 13-hole or replay some of the holes? What do you guys think about some type of solution to this problem? Thanks, guys.
It depends on, I suppose, how many people come out to league. Yeah. If you're filling leagues and you got somebody starting on every single hole, then it's going to be tough. You're just going to have to shorten it, I believe. Now, if you don't necessarily, if you have like 30, 40 people coming out that you can spread it out a little bit, then yeah, I would take whatever makes the most sense. If there's a nice loop that you can play, through 12 holes and then play the other handful of holes again, I think that would be just fine. Or shortening the course if possible, and just kind of depends, really.
Yeah. There's a course like that in Austin called Bartholomew Park.
Yes.
Super cool course, but I mean, it's been in the ground for a long time, so it's beat down and the baskets are old, but it's fun. It's really fun to play. It currently only has 15 baskets in the ground because of some construction that happened a while ago. And so they play 1 through 15, and then you start back at 1, but there's a short tee for 1. There's a short tee for, I guess 2 has a pretty similar tee, maybe only a few feet different. And then 3 has a short tee. So yeah, I think if you want to just mix it up a little bit like that, that's probably a good call. Get you a new look at a hole that you might not have had before. Yep. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the things I want to talk about that we have coming up July 15th is the disc golf experience at Nissan Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
This is where we're actually taking a few of us from here in Emporia, and we're meeting some people in Nashville, and we're playing some disc golf in a stadium.
Again.
Now, Robert, you were at the AT&T one, right?
Mm-hmm. I went there a couple times, yeah.
Kind of tell people why. I mean, what makes it so cool to play disc golf in a stadium?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you're like me in this way, but since I've started playing disc golf, I'll be walking through a building or in an area that you would never play disc golf and start seeing shots and seeing lines and be like, man, it'd be really cool to throw this. But you're never going to be able to because you just can't. The Cowboys Stadium there in Arlington it's just like that. It's huge. there are just a lot of cool lines that you'd never really be able to throw unless we do something like this. And so if you're listening to this and you're like, man, that's not that cool, you're just throwing frisbees, you have to try it. Try it one time and see if I'm lying to you. It is so cool to be able to go and throw on the field toward the 50-yard line, through the hallways, everything like that. I thought it was a fantastic experience. Super, super duper cool.
And Eric, I mean, there are the few times you got to throw through the uprights. I mean, that's just kind of a cool thing to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, every AT&T experience we did, because that was the final hole. But just, during the, when we're wrapping things up, just watching everybody playing catch on the field or, throwing some shots. It's just, it's an absolute, truly unique experience.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's very minimal cost.
Yeah.
Right.
And you get a fluid slammer.
Yeah.
Fluid.
I mean, that is just redonkulous.
Yeah, in fact, they gave us. I'm going to start posting pictures on social media, but they gave me the stamp for the fluid slammer.
Nice.
And then the overmold. I think it's going to be the Ceric. Overmold disc will have the actual disc golf experience stamp on there. So really cool
and
stuff.
a little different too, right? Something that we haven't seen from the Ceric. Is that right?
That I don't know.
I thought so. I thought the colors were going to be a little like.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, that's
right. Because we've only seen white right now for the outer.
Right,
On
and
the
I think
Cerics,
they're working on.
They're like blue or red or something like that.
Whatever.
Cool. I didn't
It's
know
going to
that.
be kind of like Tennessee Titan.
Yeah, the color, the red and blue
Nice.
colors. I think that's
Cool.
really cool.
So-
Like Jayhawk colors. So it's going to be.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think,
yeah,
I think that's what they had in mind. Pretty sure that's what they had in mind.
So anyway, guys, make sure you go to discgolfscene.com, search for Nissan Stadium, and you'll be able to find it and get registered out there. You can get a lot more information about as far as the cost, where to go, what check in, and there's some other questions out there to get answered. But I highly recommend you going out there and trying it out because we're going to have a really good time.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait. Plus,
it's gonna
I
be
mean,
awesome.
Paige and Zach are both
Yes,
going to be
I
there.
forgot, yes.
And so you can just kind of mingle and rub elbows with them.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're both great class act players. And
I heard Paige is pretty good at disc golf.
Absolutely.
Jury's still out on Zach. We're
And
not
I mean, they'll be
sure.
there to answer any questions you have, which is just it's going to be cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Highly recommend
Speaking
it.
of Paige, she had a really good
Yes.
round. I
Yeah.
hear. Tell us about that.
So ratings got updated. Today's Wednesday. They got updated yesterday, and so I was looking through and was reminded, just because ratings had updated, that somebody said that they would bet on Paige to reach 1,000 faster than me, and I said that's probably a good bet to take, right? I mean, but for real, because she's good. So I just went to see her rating to see if she'd moved up at all. She moved up to 969. But I went in to see if she had any rounds that were going to drop off at the next update that would move her up a little bit more. So I was scrolling through and found out that her Texas State's first round rating, where she just shredded, actually ended up officially being rated 1058. Wow. And I mean, 1058. I did not misspeak. That's just a blazing hot round.
Yeah.
And it's actually tied for the highest rated women's round of all time.
Really?
Yep. Katrina has one as well, a 1058. But that's in a different SSA bracket.
Okay.
This one is it's something like between 53 and 58 or 54 and 59. And the highest rated one in that bracket so far has been Valerie Jenkins had a 1041. And so this was 17 points higher in that SSA bracket. So
That's amazing.
Just silly, man. She's very, very good. So congratulations to Paige. I texted her about it earlier today, and she was like, "Dude, that's awesome." It was really cool.
That's very cool. So
yeah.
good show for Paige.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is it for the Speak Pipe questions. So we're going to move on to the questions that people have actually sent into the website. So we're going to go with K2 has a question. He says, "Hey guys, K2 from Norway here. Love your show. You guys are doing a great job. Here back in Norway, we are in a process to design a new disc golf course. We're starting to mark out the holes and tee pads as soon as the snow is melted. My question is, what are the first things to do, what are the first thing that we should do when we are making a new disc golf course? And has Eric ever designed a course in the Nordic environment? If not, do you want to?
Yes.
It would be awesome to have an Eric McCabe signature course here in Norway.
Are you kidding me? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What is it? Course sales at dynamicdisc.com?
Yeah, or McCabe at dynamicdisc.com if you want to go straight to
He'd
me.
be willing to take
he
this one
wants to
directly.
go,
Yeah, I would
So-
love to go out there and help out with that. That would be, oh man, phenomenal.
So give us a few things that you do, what you think about when you are designing a course. What are some of the first things you look for and have in your mind?
Well, the first thing I do is walk the property, get to know the property. Find a good spot for a starting hole, a starting spot, and a great spot to finish. So you don't, get out there and start designing the course and then come to find out, wow, I'm on hole 18 already, and I'm
way away from the
500
start.
yards away from hole 1.
Yeah.
You don't really want to necessarily do that if possible. So you want to make sure the flow is all good, good starting point, good finishing point, and just cool, unique areas on the piece of property. Like if there's any cool little hills, or what kind of elevation you're working with. Cool trees, birch trees, especially up in the Nordic area. I mean, there's got to be just gorgeous trees up there, just beautiful terrain. So that's kind of the way my mind works when I'm first looking at a piece of property, and then I'll just study a map for hours and just get to know the area even more. Look at it, kind of overlay it, and then go out and walk it and make sure it looks all right. Take discs, throw them. Call me.
Yeah. Well, and
Call me.
and this goes without saying for you because it's always in your mind. But a big part when you're designing a course is safety.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. I've played a lot of courses. I've seen a lot of courses going in, and I cringe sometimes when you see how close some people will design a hole to a walking path. Even if it's just a walking path. Oh, nobody ever uses it. Well, it's a walking path. It's there. Somebody's used it. Somebody's using it, and it's scary because all it's going to take is that one person getting hit, getting hurt, and boom, your course is going to get pulled like yesterday. I mean, it's a scary thing. So safety's always got to be the number one, and not just safety from, pedestrians walking through the park or bike riders or whatever the case is, but you also got to consider not keeping the next tee super close to basket positions, or if it's a blind hole. What I like to do is if we have a hole that's like a big turnover shot or a big hyzer through the woods and the shot's around, what I like to do is have a nice tight tunnel cut from the tee pad, like an eyes view tee pad straight to the basket. So you can kind of see the basket and you can see if it's clear, but it's not a big enough line that you're going to actually throw. You're never going to take that shot because obviously the shot is more open off to the side or whatever it is. Yeah. But so you can at least see the pin and know if they're clear and know to throw if it's safe to throw.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, next one comes from...
But seriously, call me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very interested.
Yeah, next one is from... he's from Norway, so I hope I'm pronouncing this right. It looks like Goran, but it might be Garin.
I am Groot.
I am Groot? Anyway, he says, greetings from Norway. I have not been in a situation like this yet, but it would be nice to know what to do if I stumble upon this someday. So here's this scenario. What happens if there is a situation where one player calls out another for a foot fault while the rest of the card has no opinion because they didn't pay attention to the throw? For example, the thrower touched his marker pre-release according to the accuser, while the thrower pleads his case that it was post-release as he followed through with his foot. Love the podcast. Keep up the good work. So basically, if, let's say, Eric and Robert are on a card, Robert does a foot fault, a falling putt, or anything, any violation.
First of all, no, I didn't.
Okay.
So,
and Eric is the only one that calls it, and me and Anthony are on the card, and we're like, I was picking up flowers.
I was picking my
flowers,
nose.
or something. So how do you do that if one person, if you've got two people fighting and you don't have anybody to?
Well, the first offense is all it takes is one person.
Okay.
If it's your first foot fault, all it takes is that one person to say, Bobby, that's a foot fault. You got to rethrow.
Really?
Warning. Now, if it's a stroke involved, then it has to be seconded. So if that's the case, if Robert did foot fault, Bobby called it, and I'm off somewhere else and Anthony's over there editing videos.
The heck, dude, we're playing disc golf, man. Come on.
Then it doesn't matter. It just doesn't count.
Then I guess
you have to have a second if it's going to be strokes involved.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's doubts, then it goes to the player, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's always the rule. Benefit goes to the player.
That's what I was looking
that's
for.
Yeah, that's kind of a tough situation, honestly. I don't know. Yeah, that's tough.
Foot faults are weird too. Like
if it's egregious, yeah. Like all right, so Bobby's the basket and these discs are my line.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm like 3 feet to the left of my line and it's obvious that I went that way because it makes a clearer line for my shots to the basket, sure, I'll call a foot fault on that.
And maybe if there's a tree there and you're trying not to hit your hand or you're trying to get a little more aggressive than you probably should and you foot fault that way, sure. But if you're in the middle of an open field throwing a shot and you miss your mark by 2 inches,
an inch or two, I'm sorry.
I'm not calling you on it. I mean...
Nor am I paying close enough attention to really notice that.
Exactly. I don't. And what really gets me is those players that, and there's a few of them out there that will, like a guy's lining up a straddle putt or something and
lets him putt,
and then foot fault.
Way,
I mean,
dude.
come on, dude. If it's me and I see, you kind of have an advantage. You look like you're in front of your line. Hey, wait, you might go back a little bit before you putt that. Just
absolutely.
I just don't like the thought of somebody calling you out on a foot fault after the fact, knowing that they could have stopped you.
Yeah, just lying in wait to call you on a penalty.
Yeah,
that bothers me a lot.
Who wants to win that way?
Yeah.
I mean...
I don't. I mean, I like winning.
I do.
No, Bobby does want to win.
Bobby does.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of foot faults called tonight.
Yeah, that's right. There's no way he leaves with a 7 tag.
This one is from Jack. Hey, guys. What's the word on the Nissan disc golf experience? Jack, rewind about 15 minutes, and you'll find out more information. Yes, we're trying to catch up on some old questions.
It's going to be awesome, Jack.
Nick, hey, guys, love the show. Robert and Anthony, he actually spelt it Anthony.
Nice.
Are great additions. My question about playing in a higher division. I'm a decent advanced player with a few wins under my belt. I'm dipping my toe in the open field this year. My question is, how do you keep from getting discouraged when playing against big names like Joe Revere and not being able to keep up? Any tips on what I should do or how I should build from these events? Thank you for all you do. I kind of have a quote for that. You shouldn't. I mean, I understand you're wanting to win. I understand the whole competition thing, but is it more if you're at a certain level and you're trying to build, you shouldn't compete with others. You need to compete with yourself.
Yep.
Right?
No, you should compete against the course.
Oh, that's actually another way. So I'll let you take it from there, Eric.
Compete the course.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
It is. And I did experience some of this coming up, as I was touring for the first time, playing on cards with Climo and Schultz and some of these guys that you guys probably have no idea who I'm talking about now. But yeah, I mean, it's intimidating sometimes to play against those players, but know that they started out somewhere. They started in the same exact situation that you're in, and go out there. And the key when you're playing a tournament is to stay in your own comfort zone.
Yep.
And this is, I mean, I think Robert could probably really relate to some of this a little bit, at least. I mean, when we go out, well, exactly,
just less good than Eric. Okay, gosh.
When we go out and play tags match,
yeah, I'm so intimidated.
Well, no. I'm not saying you're intimidated. I'm saying that you play your own game.
Yes, that's
and
very
you
true.
have a very good shot of beating me. You don't. Like, for instance, hole number, what is it, 5?
5 at East.
5 Jones East. I go for that hole every single time I play it. Unless it's a vicious headwind.
I go for that hole 0 times I play it.
When we're playing for tags, you just throw a nice... Even if I have 2 strokes on you already and I mash a drive and park it, you're not going for that hole. You're staying in your comfort zone because it's not your play to throw a 500-foot turnover shot.
Right.
You know the smart play for your game is to throw a pitch hyzer and another pitch hyzer, take your 3 and move on.
Yep.
And just kind of stay in your own comfort zone, your own level of comfort.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. When I get out to a course for a tournament, I have already made a plan for the round.
Mm-hmm.
And that plan for me doesn't change no matter who I'm playing with.
Yep.
So the time that I think this came out best for me, I was playing Texas States a while ago and got on a card with Nico. And he shredded this course. I mean, it was windy, and he shot like a 1080. I mean, he was on one. And he was throwing a ton of big shots, lines I hadn't even looked at. And instead of just trying to do crazy stuff, I stayed in my lane. I played in my game plan. I shot like a 10-34. I mean, it was a good round. It didn't feel as good because I got beat by 5. Yeah, but still,
Math is hard.
Math is super hard. And also, this was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, when you get out there, if Eric's on my card, if Bobby's on my card, if Anthony is, doesn't matter. I'm sticking to my game plan regardless of what happens.
One thing that I've done for myself, coming from an 8-10 rated player, is
who was previously in the 700s.
Really?
Hey, that's right, improvement.
Yeah. No, to be serious though, is that I use the UDisc app a lot because I know I'm not going to win. I know I'm not going to be among the top finishers, even in the bag tag. I'm not, know. But what I do is I keep my score because then I look, how well did I do the last time we played Peter Pan?
I like that.
How well did I do the last time we played Jones West or something like that? And then that's how I say, oh, I did better. Oh, I did worse. What happened, And so that's what I try to do to make sure that I'm not trying to compare myself to everybody else. Now, obviously, I feel better when I get a better tag. I feel, defeated when I get a worse tag, but I still try to maintain and look at how I did the last time and whether I improved or didn't improve.
Yeah. So if you're just stepping up into open and you get beat by 5, you get beat by 10, part of getting better is taking your knocks. And when you have your game plan, you stick to your game plan. Eric's on your card, he beats you by 10. After the round is over, go back and think, what could I have done differently that he did well? I don't pay attention to the people on my card while I'm playing until the round is over. And then I'll go back and say, what did they do that I could do that I can improve upon?
Awesome.
So, yeah, things like that.
Next one is from Steven. I've been throwing seriously for about a year. As suggested, I narrowed down my bag to 4 discs. The Turn, Valkyrie, Compass, and Judge. I've played with only those 4 discs for the last year. My form has improved and my range has increased by almost 100 feet, nearing 400 feet now. Lately, I've been having trouble with my Valkyrie, which I use mostly for fairway shots. Without grip locking the disc, it starts to carry right and never comes back. My question is, can you outgrow a disc? And if so, what would be a good fairway driver to switch to? Thanks for all you guys do.
You can absolutely outgrow a disc. I think Bobby's experience.
Yeah.
At least for the shot that you're used to having it for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Valkyries, I never really threw. I don't feel like a Valkyrie's a fairway driver, though.
It's like a low-speed distance driver. It's like a 9, something like that.
Then my suggestion would be a Convict. Would be a pretty decent replacement.
I would say, yeah, because I used to throw the Witness, and I noticed that as I got better, the Witness was turning more for me too much, and then it became kind of
almost like a roller.
Yeah, almost like a roller. And so, I moved up to more like a Trespass or Air Trespass, even an Escape. I remember throwing the Valkyrie, and I would say if it's starting to turn for you like that, then yeah, it's time to move up a disc as far as the stability.
Yeah,
So.
I think Convict is a great suggestion for that. Nice and neutral. Probably finish a little to the left for you.
Except when you throw it in the water like I did.
Yeah. Well, it might have finished to the left, but...
Yeah, when it went down in
That's
the
right.
water, it just kept going.
Where was it? It was when me and Anthony...
Must have been Jones Easton.
It was Joe. What hole was it Anthony I threw? I can't remember.
Hole 11?
Was it 11?
Billy Ingles hole?
Yeah.
Does it hurt your feelings that Bobby beat you and he threw one in the water?
All right, next one is from Bill. Oh, man. I messed that up, Bill.
Did you delete it?
He put in parentheses, have EMAC guess. Because remember, every time...
Oh.
That's my fault, Bill.
I probably would have said Bill, too, because that's one of my go-tos.
That's your go-to one. Sorry, Bill. I screwed that up. Anyway, he says, what up, guys? I'm new to disc golf, and I'm trying out a couple of putters. I currently have a Warden and a Pure. My problem is that I like the flight of my Pure, but it feels uncomfortable in my hand. My Warden, however, feels great in the hand, but I have a hard time getting consistent putts out of it. What do I do? Do I need a new putter? Or is my grip/technique off? Thanks for the input. Love the podcast.
Without seeing it, it's really hard to tell you. I would say if the Warden already feels good to you, then stick with that. Right,
work with it.
Yeah, because I putted with Pures for a little bit when I very first switched over, and yeah, I would get good flights out of them, but if a disc doesn't feel good in my hand, it's just not going to be in my bag. Like I'm not going to pull it out and be like, maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad, but it flies well most of the time. I want to feel confident when I grab a disc out of my bag. And so, yeah, I think work with the one that feels best to you, and then just try and get more consistent with your release, consistent with the amount of spin that you put on it with your release point. I think those are really important things to work on. I think the Warden's a really good versatile putter, and the Pure and Warden flights are not that different. So you should be able to replicate the flights of a Pure with a Warden that feels better to you.
Yeah. Right. You know, you're speaking of that feeling comfortable in the hand. I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit when you and I did the filming for my first disc golf bag video, because I just got a new Queen, VIP Queen, and I had a TP Queen. And we were talking that the Queen and the Freedom fly fairly similar for me, but for some reason the Queen just feels more comfortable in my hand. And I finally said, you know what, I just need to go with the Queen. Yep. And there is something about it, the way, because you're holding it, you're gripping it, and you're throwing it, and that whole feeling comfortable, grip and everything, I think really helps you feel more confident with your throw.
100%.
And guess what, Eric?
It feels weird. And
I cleared hole 8 with the Queen.
Yeah.
Did you? Nice.
Like how much?
Probably 30 or 40 feet.
Nice.
I mean, it was up by the first tree there. It was awesome.
What was that, Anthony?
Snide comments over here. My feelings are hurt.
Now it took three throws. The first throw, it missed it by about a foot or two.
It took you 3 shots to get across the tall grass?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, to throw 3 times. No. The first throw, it missed it by about a foot, I think.
It was really close.
The second throw, I think I went nose up or turned
it over too
I
much,
turned it over and it went way over. But I actually put it on a tiny bit of hyzer. Man, it flew up so nice.
That's
scored,
cool.
Just kept going.
It was really cool to watch.
I got goosebumps.
Denise threw over hole 11 for the first time ever.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
What
was awesome.
She threw one of my Renegades.
Is it one? Is it like
it was a beat-in Renegade that I used to throw for a roller. It's yellow, so it'll never be in her bag.
That's right.
But I let her throw it, and I was like, because she threw an EMAC Truth is what she usually throws there, and she's getting with that mid-range. She has to take a little bit off now because she's getting closer and closer to the water.
Yeah.
Because she likes to just lay up and then throw across, take her 3. And I'm like, man, you're almost to the point where if you just ripped it, you can get it. And she didn't want to, risk any of her discs, so I gave her mine, in thinking that she's going to be a little more confident with it and put a little more power behind it to hopefully get across, and she did.
How far is that?
That shot is to get across is probably 315.
That's about the number I had in my head, 320.
That's one I need to conquer is hole 11, because I usually do that. I usually throw a short shot and then throw my upside over the pond. Cool, well, very cool. Now, so Renegade is not something she normally throws?
No, she loves.
She does
the
throw
Renegade.
Renegades.
Oh, she does.
Just not the yellow one.
I got
Fusion Renegades, and this happened to be a Lucid Renegade.
I got you. Cool, very cool. Man, it's so...
That was awesome.
You don't have to throw what the pros throw. You got to throw what's right for you.
Exactly. Yep. That's why there's this whole thing called, is this disc right for you?
All right, next one is from Anthony.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Actually, this isn't Anthony. This is Anthony. Anthony asks, what's the one or two thing in the driving throw... What?
Fret?
Hold on. What's the one or two thing in the driving throwing form that separates an AM golfer throwing drives 350 and a pro golfer throwing 450 to 500 feet plus? What is the main mistakes you see us AMS players make, or what is it about throwing farther that we AM players just don't understand? Thanks, the other Anthony.
I mean, I've got an idea.
Technique, probably. Form.
Yeah.
Smoothness. A lot of times when I see an amateur pick up a disc or somebody who's just starting out, everything doesn't click yet. It's just kind of, sure, they have a lot of arm speed, and that helps get some power and some distance out there. But if you watch a player like Paul, for instance, he throws far, and it looks effortless.
Yeah.
That's so stupid, dude.
And it's just nice and smooth.
Yeah.
And that's really what it boils down to, is having a smooth follow-through release, using your whole core as opposed to just having a quick arm.
Yeah. I'd say one of the big mistakes I see from AMs is that they try to go too fast from the start to the finish, right? So their run-up steps are fast, and their reach back is super fast. And It's just everything's at 100 miles an hour. When in reality, what you want to do is go from slow to fast in every portion of the throw. So you want your footwork to start slow and finish fast.
Yeah.
You want your reach back to start slow, and then your pull through to start slow and finish fast. I mean, same with your hips, same with your shoulders. Yeah, acceleration I think is a really big deal. That it feels like, all right, I'm going to throw fast, so it'll go farther. It doesn't translate to distance.
So what are some practical things that an AM can do to work on that?
Sure. I would slow down my footwork, because more than you would think
Not
in
just
disc
your
golf.
footwork, but everything.
Well, sure, but I'm
Just-
saying more
just
than you'd
starting
think.
out.
Yeah, more than you'd think in your throw is affected by having good footwork. But yeah, if you're getting your steps slower and then you're still reaching back and pulling your arm through too fast, it's not going to make a difference. So yeah, slowing down in general would be good. I would be really sensitive to the nose angle you throw on the disc, because you could throw a 350-foot shot with the nose slightly up, but if you get it flat or even a little nose down and let it carry some wind or get a full flight, you might be getting closer to 400 or 450. Reaching back all the way is pretty important. I'm not very good at that. My reach back is really short compared to most people, and so I don't engage quite all of the muscles, the big muscle groups that you need to throw.
Well, it's also hard if you're a player that's been playing for a while and your reach back isn't a full reach back, and you try, your timing is off.
Oh yeah,
your timing's going to be off for a while. That's why slowing everything down when you're trying to learn the X step or trying to get the maximum reach back really does help.
Yep.
Cool. Next one is from Michael. This question is for 2017 World Beard Champion Eric McCabe.
Yeah,
you did
2017.
All right. Good job, dude.
Current world champ.
Current and reigning world champ.
Got him.
What? Did I miss something?
Yeah,
here?
don't worry.
No, don't worry. We'll explain later. Can you? I love you if you're watching ever. Probably will never watch it, but anyway. Can you briefly address why touring pros invariably putt with base plastic putters? Examples: Classic, Zero, BT, and DX. I'm disappointed by how rapidly the nubs and bands of baskets chew up my putters, but I figure there must be a reason for the complete lack of Star AVRs, S-Line P2s, Opto Pures, Gold Line Daggers, and Luther Judges and Wardens among the top players.
I think grip has a lot to do with it. The more premium plastics tend to be a little bit slicker and have more tendencies to slide out of the hand, and be a little slicker on the chains mentally. Have more pop and kind of slide through cut throughs. Now, Paul Ulibarri won the 2009 Amateur Worlds in Tulsa with a Z magnet.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, really?
Z magnet.
Z magnets. But no, you won't see it because grip is more important. And to be honest, yeah, the basket will beat up your putters. Certain baskets will beat them up a little bit more. But these guys don't miss either, for the most part. I mean, so that's kind of...
And I bet if you were to look at some of these guys, really look at the putting putter they use, I bet you it's probably beat up pretty good. But they still love the flight of it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people love it when their putter just gets beat. Beat.
Just
Eric
feels like an
doesn't
old
as much.
friend.
Not me.
See, I'm...
Oh, yeah, because we had a discussion before, right?
I like new.
Yeah.
I like...
Dude, I'm all about the beat-up putter.
Yeah.
I pulled out, when some friends were in town, I pulled out the first KC Pro AVR that I've got, which was a big bead putter, right? And I putted with it, and until I couldn't trust it in the wind anymore, then it became like a step putter for me. And the bead is worn all the way off on the bottom. It's a beadless AVR now. And it's like... I mean, I don't putt with it anymore because I putt with Wardens and I love them. But when you hold it, it's like an old friend. It's
well, the other day I was packing up some discs, putting them in boxes, and I found
some old Challengers, right?
I found a box of Challengers, and one of them was the Challenger that I won Players Cup with.
Yeah,
and it is beat.
Yeah,
I mean it is beat.
But you still remember how cool it feels.
Oh yeah, and how great it flew, and yeah, it was great.
We have two players that I can think of. I know Dixon at least used to have a pretty beat up Cena's, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what he puts with
And
in any
it's
wind
like
type situation.
wavy.
Oh yeah.
And he
Ron
still likes
Kahn's the
it.
other one.
Oh,
That's,
yeah, it's a.
I don't know what it is. I know he has a soft judge that he likes. It just looks like he got hit by a truck.
Yep.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Twice.
But it's just like you look at it, and you're like, how does this thing even fly? Because it's so waped and warped. And he, as soon as I asked him, he's like, oh, it flies perfect for me. I love, it's like he loves it. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, next one is from Jason. I have a quick question for you. Will storing discs in my car warp them or make them less stable? Does it matter if the weather is particularly hot or cold? Thanks for the great pod.
It kind of depends on how you store them.
Yep.
I wouldn't recommend if it gets super hot. It's not good for the disc because they will get softer, and then if it cools, they're going to cool a weird way, and then they will get warped.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you can just lay them out flat in a super hot window or something like that, and they'll kind of pop back. But I don't know if it'll affect the stability at all. I've never really tested that, but it will absolutely warp it.
If it feels colder in your hand, I feel like if it's 40 outside and I've left my discs in my car all night,
that's miserable.
Oh yeah,
you might as well not play.
Yeah,
if it's 40 degrees out anyway.
When you start to lose feeling on your fingers with that, everything flies more stable or just not well. Yeah. And so on days like that, I for sure take my discs inside. But yeah, warping discs and then being like, oh, I want to go throw this disc. Now it's warped. Yeah. It's a terrible feeling. So yeah, just take them inside.
Next one is from Jason. Recently, I've been debating if I need an overstable mid or if I can just throw my convicts with less power. What are the benefits of bagging an overstable mid as compared to just throwing a fairway driver more easily?
It's a super good question.
It really is.
I had a friend when I started playing disc golf named Andy, and he had no mid ranges. He had a putter, and he had the slowest driver he had was like a 9-speed.
Did he also play with dolls?
No.
Oh.
No.
Not that Andy?
No.
Okay.
This is not the Andy from Toy Story.
Oh, okay.
He's too famous for me.
Andy.
But he never threw any mid-ranges. He had gotten really, really good at distance control with those and just hitting and sitting. And honestly, he had to deal with a lot more skip than most people. Mm-hmm. The reason I think it is helpful to have an overstable mid-range is it's a deeper disc. That's going to grab the ground a little bit easier. It's less prone to skip. And when a disc is spinning slower, if you miss a shot, it's more forgiving because it's not rotating so quickly that it'll travel so far offline. And so, in general, for me, I try and throw the slowest speed disc that I can to accomplish the shot. If it's a wide open shot, 250 feet, I'm always throwing a Warden, always.
So that kind of brings me into what I want to talk about, the Trilogy Challenge disc. I know we just talked about the Trilogy Challenge a little bit, but I want to specifically talk about the discs.
Mm-hmm.
So the Latitude 64 River Pro is and I'll kind of bring this back around to why I brought this up after that question is the Latitude 64 is it more of a distance driver or a fairway driver?
It's a fairway driver.
Fairway driver. Sure. Okay, so the River Pro. So it being the Pro, just from the feel of it, I know that Eric, you threw it when we did the Is This Disc Right For You. Have you thrown it yet?
Mm-hmm. I've thrown it a few times, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the River Pro and how it's going to throw.
Beef.
It's pretty overstable.
Beef.
More than you'd think.
Yep.
How do you know? You don't know what I was thinking. How?
Because if you had a river and you're like, all right, that's pretty understable, you'd think this would just be pretty straight.
Like a straight flyer.
And it's straight. It's resistant to turn, but it also has a little finish at the end.
I almost feel like it has a little bit more finish than even a Saint Pro.
I agree.
Really?
Which is weird because a Saint is more overstable than a river.
Yeah, right.
So, but just, the handful of times that we threw it out that day, it's stable. Like, I mean, overstable. Like, now it's kind of difficult to explain. It's not like...
It's not unusable, spike overstable.
Yeah, it's not like that. But the reason I think that we're crazy on how overstable it is because it's a River Pro. We expected it to be a little straighter, more versatile disc, as opposed to now it's a great wind driver.
Yep.
You can throw it out pretty flat and get it to fly relatively straight and have a nice finish for it, but it's not like criminal overstable,
right?
Which is very, very overstable.
So one of the things I think is cool about the Trilogy Challenge is because These are 3 unreleased discs, and that's the discs you have to play with when you play in a Trilogy challenges. We'll oftentimes get people that don't normally throw our plastic. They'll try out the
Right.
discs. So can you guys think of any discs out there from some of the other popular brands? Maybe this people like, well, I'm not sure what it'll fly like. Maybe it'll give them an idea what it's supposed to. In other words, comparison discs.
Sure. I think probably the closest thing that I'd compare it to is a pretty overstable T-Bird.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit slower than a T-Bird, not quite as fast, but I do think it has more finish, more fade at the end than a T-Bird. Feel is pretty similar. This has a little bit narrower rim.
Okay.
But
More
yeah.
dome too than a lot of the T-Birds I've seen.
But all in all, I think it's probably pretty close to that.
Very nice. And from Westside Discs, the mid-range is the Pine. What would you say it throws like, Robert, the Pine?
It's honestly nice and overstable as well. This would be at high speeds. It'll be a good straight flyer with just a little consistent.
And when you say high speeds, what do you mean?
High speeds would be if you're throwing, if your arm speed is more of a 400 to 500 foot thrower.
Okay.
This is going to be pretty straight for you out of the box and then fade pretty late. If your arm is a little bit slower than that, then you're going to really like this for just letting the disc go flat and then just watching it slowly work to the left, because it's going to be a reliable, overstable disc for something like that. Yeah. What did you think about it?
I thought it was, like you said, overstable. For me, it flew right in between like a Verdict and a Justice.
Yeah.
From our brand, it flew very similar to a Bard, which is also a Westside disc. And another company I guess I could compare it to would be maybe like a Drone.
Okay.
Maybe not quite as overstable as a Drone, because a Drone is pretty beefy depending on which one you get, but it has a pretty round rim on it. Now, I know if you're a big Westside supporter and just love Westside and want to throw a bag of Westside and you throw the Warship, this is a pretty good complement to that disc, because it's kind of like a more overstable version of it, and it does feel very similar.
Yeah, it's a little bit deeper than our mids are. So like EMAC Truth, regular Truth, Verdict are going to be a little shallower than this. But yeah, this I'd say the anchor feels relatively similar as far as the depth goes. Maybe not quite as deep as a Bard, but kind of close.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then for the putter, we have the Dynamic Discs Deputy.
Deputy.
So tell us your thoughts on the Deputy.
For me, the Deputy is, if it makes the bag, it would be a like outside the circle jump putter.
Why is that?
Because it has so much glide.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's more understable, so I don't have to put as much pop behind it, and it just kind of stays in the air a little bit longer. I wanted it to be in the bag as an understable thrower. The only time I think it would be in my bag for an understable thrower would be through the woods.
Okay.
To where I can just put a nice pop on it, like maybe even 60% with a hyzer, and it flips to flat and just kind of holds that right line. I can understand why Paige is loving these things for putting, though.
Yeah, because she's a really straight line putter.
Straight line putter, releases right at the basket, and when we were putting with them, it pretty much was on the line I put it on. So if I was missing left or right, it's because I missed left or right. You know, it went on the line that you put it on.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it too, and what I noticed that might be a little different than putters that are slightly more overstable when they finish is even on a hyzer, this flies pretty straight at putting speeds. I mean, I putt with a little bit of hyzer, and this was still just holding. I mean, it wasn't diving left. It wasn't standing up right. It was just kind of holding straight, even on a hyzer. So I think it's good for that. And then if you if your arm is closer to the 300 foot or so arm speed, you are going to love this as a straight thrower, or even throw it flat and just let it cruise to the right. The times that I threw this, we were in Arizona at the Memorial. And we went out to one of the, I guess it was called a par 3, but it was pretty long. It was 500 something. And I threw it about as hard as I could on a hyzer, maybe like this. And it just stood up to flat and just carried. And I bet it went 330, 340. It's got really good glide. And it wants to stay in the air for a while. It doesn't want to dive.
Right.
So I know somebody who is very excited about the Deputy.
I am so
Who is
excited
it?
about it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm very excited about the Deputy. Just from the talks of what it's supposed to do, and then when we went and filmed the Is This Disc Right For You, just my first throw was a flat throw, and it did what, when you put it on hyzer and you threw it, it did for me when I did my just a regular flat throw. It just stood up and glided.
It glided.
It had a lot of glide to it and went really far for me. So I am super excited. So that brings me.
It was amazing. I want to say I've never seen Bobby throw a putter with that much control.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to watch. Yeah.
I'm excited. So back around to the reason why I brought this up.
Sure.
For the mitters, for the putter, because you talked about certain shots that you will throw a Warden, and another reason why I'm excited is because I've never thrown a putter off the tee,
right?
At least none that I can remember, because I never had, like Eric said, that type of control, that type of glide, and that type of distance. So when does one decide I'm not going to throw a mid, I'm definitely not going to throw a driver, but I'm going to throw a putter? When would one decide that the putter is the right disc to throw off the tee?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One of the reasons that I love throwing a putter off the tee is because of the discs that we have, it spins the slowest. So if I hit it how I want to, then it's going to go where I put it. If I miss by a little bit, it's not going to turn up and fly a long ways away. It's not going to hyzer way off. It's just going to kind of hold straight. And so when I realized that I could throw a putter for shots like that is when I had worked on my form a lot and had a really smooth release, so that it didn't have that off-axis torque, which is wobble. You know, if you let the disc go on a different angle or try and speed up too much on it, a lot of times it'll wobble and snap turnover or just be straight nose up. The reason I like when I figured I could throw a putter instead of a mid was when it came out really, really smooth, because then it would just hold that line. Just hold and hold and hold. And so I think having a more understable putter is a good type putter to learn that shot on, because it's going to tell you immediately if you're trying to throw it too hard or if you are letting it go on a different angle from your reach back to your release to your follow through. It's going to let you know that. So I think that's a great training tool. And once you've got it, then it's a super nice shot to have in your bag. Where we were talking about Jones East hole 5. Eric throws a huge turnover because he throws far. I don't throw very far, but I've got my Wardens dialed to where I just throw it straight. I mean, probably on that hole I don't throw it more than 260, but just I don't care what the wind is. I know I can just throw that straight and it's going to land in the landing zone. So that's why I like it for shots like that.
Now, Eric, for your game, your style or your game or whatever, you throw your truth a lot, the EMAC truth.
Yeah.
A lot.
But
when do you decide that a putter might be a better choice for that?
Not very often, to be honest, but I will throw one hole that comes to mind is hole number, we changed the numbers out there, so 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, I think it is, right? 12, 13 at Pan?
Yeah.
Was it 12 or 13 now?
Yeah, are you talking about the peninsula?
The one after the peninsula.
Okay, I think that's 13 now.
Cool. Yeah, hole 13.
How does it throw, I guess? Describe the throw.
The reason I'm thinking of that hole in particular is it's a landing zone that I have to land in, similar to what you do on hole 5. Mainly because if I throw the EMAC Truth on it, I have to throw it at like 40%.
Right.
And I would much rather be able to throw a disc with a little bit more pop on it at like 80%, like I like to throw my EMACs. And I can do that with a putter, and I do it if I have to do that with a mid-range, it has more tendencies to hyzer out, or maybe I put a little too much on and it goes too far. Now I've blown past the landing zone and I'm scrambling.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm throwing a putter off the tee, it's because it's that perfect distance of 120 to 280 maybe.
Right.
That I really feel comfortable throwing that putter.
I'm assuming that's kind of like in golf where you're clubbing down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that hole is one of my favorite holes in town because a lot of people struggle on that hole, and I every time throw Warden, and I'm inside the circle.
Yeah, I go Marshall typically, or if I'm feeling
Marshall.
If I'm feeling it, I'm going big.
Oh,
yeah.
Go cut roller.
I haven't done that yet.
All right, next question comes from Chris. I have a question about tee pads. I was wondering if you must always throw from the tee pad surface. Sometimes when they are wet, I'll move over to the side and throw from the grass immediately to one side of the pad in order not to slip. Is this okay? Is it different in tournaments? Is one side of the tee pad designated for situations like this? I can imagine a scenario where one side may give you a better line to the basket. Would this be frowned upon in casual or tournament play? Even with a dry concrete tee pad, can you choose to play off to one side or the other? You guys rock. Thanks. That's a Excellent question.
Only if the TD allows it.
Yeah. So casual,
If
do
casual,
your thing.
do what you want.
Yeah.
Throw from 100 feet in front of it if you want.
Yeah. Get a lot of aces.
Don't usually at like the players meeting they'll mention that like it was
Or
raining
they'll-
last night a lot, so guys, if you want to go off to the side, you
And
can.
usually they'll, better tournaments will go out and market.
Yes.
Like the Memorial comes to mind.
Yep.
They at Vista del Camino, those tee pads have been in the ground for years, and it gets hot in Arizona, so they just bake.
Yeah.
And so over the years, they've gotten super slick, even when they're not wet.
Mhm.
So they come out and they'll put a red flag to one side, and you have the
So
choice
you know which side
to throw
to- yeah.
from the tee pad or the grass next to it.
Now, if the TD doesn't say anything about it and it's not marked, you can assume you have to release your all supporting points that are on the ground when you let the disc go need to be on the tee pad.
And if a tee pad is slick, there's a couple things you can do.
Yep.
A couple things I like to do. I see a lot of people will bring a towel and put a towel down. If you do this, I would recommend bringing a large towel because your mind goes to, okay, now all I got to do is hit this towel. I got this tiny little foot that I can land in. So you're automatically thinking about that and not thinking about the shot.
Yeah.
So bring a bigger towel for that
And
on
practice.
those rainy days and practice it.
Yeah.
The other thing I do when it's raining is a lot of like walkthroughs instead of a full run up.
Yep.
I will just take a couple steps and I will club up. So if it's a hole I'm usually throwing an EMAC Truth on, I'll throw the Convict.
Yep.
Or if it's a hole I'm usually throwing a Convict on, I'll throw a Trespass or a Defender. Just kind of depends on the situation, the scenario. But club up and slow down.
Can I bring one of those big beach towels that have like the body forms
You
on
can
them?
bring whatever you want, Bobby.
Yep.
That would be funny. Next one is from Raul. He says, I recently purchased a first run Renegade, but I noticed there is no PDGA approved stamp on the disc. Is the disc still legal in PDGA play?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It's the mold that actually gets approved, and the Renegade is absolutely a PDGA approved disc.
Yeah. Next one, Jesse. Do you guys have an opinion on the live coverage versus next day YouTube coverage of tournaments? There seems to be a lot of back and forth via comments on some pages. Curious on your thoughts or whether you all have the time to even watch. Eric, I love your disc.
Oh, thank you.
Bobby, keep it real. I will. Robert, get a nickname.
Solid. Solid.
I'm trying my best.
So what do you guys think as far as live versus next day coverage?
I honestly, I'll be honest. I love next day coverage. I think I like the cleanness of it. It's an hour long as opposed to 4 hours long. Not to mention during a tournament, when a live tournament is happening, I'm probably doing something.
Right.
I'm busy.
Yep.
I may be at the tournament.
Right.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about Central Coast and Jomez. I love watching their videos. They do such an amazing job on them. All the graphics they've got going, and it's really fun to watch. And I personally prefer to sit down and watch post production.
Roberto?
Can I say both?
You just did.
I did it.
Yeah, you can.
If I was absolutely forced to choose, I would take post production. However, I love getting to watch an event live.
I do too.
Because there's something different about having a captive audience, right? Who doesn't know what's going to happen. I get to experience watching, Ricky's putt at Masters Cup go in.
I saw it live.
Okay, well, some of us aren't really cool and playing on his card.
I was right next to him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I handed him the disc.
Yeah, that's right.
I told him,
Ricky,
make
choose
it.
this disc. I promise it'll work. But things like that, there's nothing that compares to live when it comes to things like that. So I really like getting to have both. Now, like I said, if I was absolutely forced to choose, I'd go with post production. But it seems like the sport right now is doing both, and I love having both.
Yeah. So
Somebody got mad at me today.
It was me.
Was it?
No.
No, somebody I had posted on Tuesday. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Tuesday?
Oh, I saw this.
I
I
posted.
seen it. Oh, I'm looking it up now.
I think it was PDGA article. The PDGA wrote an article,
Yeah.
and I shared it to the page, and and somebody
what?
got
To
About-
the fan page.
Yeah, about how Paige had this was like her ninth
Ninth
wire-to-wire win.
Yeah, ninth wire-to-wire win this year.
I
And
did see the
somebody
comment,
commented
yeah.
and said,
Was he being serious?
Go read the comments.
I don't know.
I think
His
he
grammar
was.
his grammar made him sound very serious.
He was not happy with me at all for spoiling the fact that Paige Pierce won the Masters Cup, which
spoiler, dude. Go on.
finished 2 days before that.
I'm sorry if it's been 2 days and you haven't watched it yet.
Well,
Come on.
Granted, okay, the footage isn't out yet.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
The
then I
Central
take
Coast,
that
I
back.
think
take
that they're,
back.
and I didn't know if they were putting it out or not, but
But that article's been out for
not
since Sunday.
It's not just the article though. It's I don't know about you, but
I'm feeling 22. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, not at all.
Dang it.
I don't know about you guys, but if there's an event going on this weekend, I am not going to not watch live scores.
Correct.
I'm going to know who won that tournament. I'm not waiting for the post-production to come out. And
Agreed.
if you are that person that wants to wait and be in suspense,
Yep.
log off Facebook.
Yep. Treat it
Don't
like
get online because
Yep. Treat it like
you
all other
will-
sports.
Yeah.
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 Don't turn on your TV. Don't turn on. Don't look at Facebook, and then you guaranteed will not know who won when you log into it.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking at the thread right now. I mean, come on, guy. So someone put it on here. He said, "I've heard the discussion a lot. If you don't want to know what's going, if you don't want Facebook to ruin it for you, then stay off Facebook."
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just in
Well,
this
you're-
day and
you're-
age,
yeah.
everybody wants something. Everything's happening in an instant, and it's being documented in an instant.
Right.
It's going to happen. So if you don't want to, then you're going to have to turn off until all the things that you want to wait to know. You're going to have to turn it off until you know those things.
Totally.
So I'm going to keep it real.
I'm sorry I spoiled everything.
You do, Eric. I didn't even know page one.
2
No, I'm
days
playing.
late. 2 days late.
I know. So back to the discussion of live coverage versus next day coverage. We live in a very interesting time, a very exciting time, because I remember when I first started doing disc golf videos, and there was already video back in the day. If you wanted to watch tournament coverage, you had to wait till the person put it out on DVD.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And that was sometimes weeks, if not months.
Right.
And so I get it. I get that people are like, I understand that, technology improves very fast, and but I just remember the days when we had to wait weeks before we could watch anything.
Yeah. We're awfully spoiled.
We're spoiled, but it's the sign of the times. I mean, every like I said, everything instant, so people are used to that. Now the unfortunate thing is that the technology and the funding for this is much easier to put all the nice fancy stuff in post-production. Because I imagine if the live coverage had all the fancy graphics and everything, we would probably
Like if it was on PGA Tour. Like
Yeah.
if we're
Right.
watching
That's
PGA
all we
Tour
need.
event.
exactly, and it had the edits where you were watching.
That's all we need. So like a
I
few
said- I'm
$100
saying-
million.
I was saying that's all we would need.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, just like that. That's all. Just go for it.
Because if you watch PGA, you know what's happening with all hundreds of the players.
Every
because-
player has a camera on. it.
Right,
Or
and
every
they're-
hole has a camera.
Right,
on
they're
it.
so it's interesting to watch to see where, and they build that story. And so if somebody's in 20th place and they've just moved up to 8th place because they had an amazing 4 or 5 holes,
That's
You
true.
get to follow that
You're-
story.
You know what? Smashbox, step up your game.
Yeah, get 18 cameras.
have one on
cameras.
every. Okay, we'll start with 9, so you can film just the back 9 of everybody, and boom, let's do this.
So the reality is that we wouldn't be having this discussion if we had that level of coverage, because everybody would enjoy watching live. Because I know, Eric, there's times when the Masters is going on, and we're like, "What are you doing this weekend?" You're like, "I'm watching the
I'm
Masters."
watching the Masters.
Yeah.
And so if it's good content, you'll sit for hours
Oh,
and watch it.
I
Of course.
will.
And I'm not saying that Smashbox is bad coverage. It's good coverage, but it just doesn't have the
Yeah.
same lure as, say, a production quality as PGA.
Well, the
Yeah.
PGA's live production is 10 times better
Oh,
than
absolutely.
our post-production stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I get that. So I would my thing is that, is there a live coverage versus next day coverage? Just watch what you want to watch and just leave it alone. It'll catch up. Live
Yeah.
coverage will get there.
absolutely, it
And
will.
it'll be nice, and you'll enjoy it, and you'll watch it, and you'll be happy. No, you won't, because that's the way people are.
You'll
I'm not
still
picking,
be unhappy.
I'm not picking
Not
on you,
you.
Jesse. I'm
Yeah.
just general. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, we're running up on almost an hour and a half, so we're going to go ahead and end this episode. Did we talk about everything we wanted to talk about?
Think so?
Nissan Trilogy, Paige Pierce. Yeah, we talked about everything. So, guys, thanks for tuning in so much. Keep sending in those questions. We're actually going to record some more. So, if you're listening, we're going to end this episode, but we're going to make daily episodes with some of the questions because we're behind on questions. So we're going to answer these questions one at a time. So make sure you are subscribed. I'm not going to post this on the website. It's just going to be boom. You're going to find it on your feed that wherever you subscribe, you'll get these daily pushed out to you daily.
And people were having problems with this subscribing. I saw. Is that fixed? Or
but that's really not on our end.
It's their end.
It's more of their whatever app they're using, whatever phone. I mean, there's so many different models of phones, and you may not be up to date. And so I tried to research a little bit of it, and everything on our end it does the same thing. It just pushes out to the feed. And so if you're having
subscribe to it.
Subscribe if you're having issues. Try to do maybe some little bit research based on, like, if you're using Google Play or Stitcher, kind of do some research on how to make sure your notifications are turned on. Because even within your phone, I know that, like, on mine, I have to have notifications turned on within my app, and I have to make sure iPhone knows that I want notifications.
Well, that's what I
from
like
the
about
app.
that one, because I can go into it and I can turn on notifications for certain podcasts.
Right.
Yep.
And
Which
I
one
can
do
not
you
have
use?
them on. I just use the
iPhone
Podcast.
podcast.
yeah.
See, I use one called Pocket Cast.
Yeah, podcast.
Yeah. See, so you have to kind of tell the app to notify you, and you have to tell the iPhone to say, "Okay, I want you to notify me." And so I'm assuming that's the same case on the Android phone.
Right.
I just want to get that out there. Just
Sure. Yeah. If you're having issues, I apologize, but there's not much I can do on my end to fix that. So, so make sure you are subscribed. Send your questions in. Check out Nissan Stadium Disc Golf Experience at Nissan Stadium. Get signed up for that.
That's right. Come see us there.
Yes, we will be there, along with Paige Pierce and Zach Melton. So it should be good times for that.
And Brian Lamoureux,
Hey, come on.
Dom will be there.
Come on.
the Dom.
The Dom. So, all right, guys, thanks so much. We'll see you next week.